We are live, everybody. We got Buttsy in the house. We got Tour Insider Brent Grant. We got my notifications going nuts that Pull Hook Golf has gone live, folks. We've gone absolutely live. And I cannot wait for tonight's episode because we are kicking it off with a preview of the US Open. I'm jazzed. Absolutely jazzed up about this one.
Oh, none of a biscuit. What do we got there? I need snacks.
Butsy's got snacks. I gotta.
No, I said I need snacks.
Oh, you need snacks. You didn't. You weren't handed snacks. Oh
no, she brought me a fucking water and whatever this thing is. It's not beer. It's a. What does it got in it?
Sounds like a real problem going on over there at
is that the drink household that you just got sent?
Immune support.
Oh.
Antioxidants.
There we go.
Oh, 450 micrograms of vitamin.
There we go.
Hey.
Well, welcome on, folks. First and foremost, if you are new, I know there's been a lot of new subscribers recently that make sure to add some comments tonight. Feel free to join into the show. If you add some comments, it will show up in the lower, I believe it's the left-hand corner. I don't know. It's one of these corners. It always mirrors on me, so I'm not quite sure. But add those comments in. We'll have it scrolling on the side, and then we will feature some of the top comments. And man, again, very excited for tonight's show. We've got a great one for you, the U.S. Open pre-preview show. JVTN 23. Burgers look solid on the Blackstone. Steaks and pancakes are my go-to on mine. So the Blackstone's been getting a lot of use lately. Did some smash burgers last night. Posted those on the gram on our story.
Yeah.
And over the weekend, actually did some pancakes. I love the pancakes are great because you get like the crispy top and bottom. And then the middle is still like gooey and fresh. Oh, it's so good. Yeah. Like I said, I got to have you boys over for a little grill out. It's getting a little hot, though. I don't know when we would do it.
Late night Blackstoning.
You think so?
Yep.
I think that's a good call right there. But JBTN joining the show here tonight. And, you know, I always kind of know when to kick off the show because Trot Golfer normally says hello. So I wonder where Trot is tonight. I know 7 o'clock every Tuesday. Trot is ready to go. So I got to talk to Trot too.
Maybe he's dead.
Let's not say that. There he is. The money, Trot Golfer. Fellas, great week. We cannot wait to get this up and going. Trot, I've got some news for you, Trot, as well, because you and I need to talk. I'm bringing Trot into.
So we're going to do it live.
Trot is going to be forced into being my instructor, so we're gonna figure that out. But yeah,
almost like you know somebody that may also be.
I got a couple. I mean, so you know, it's kind of like when the guys go to Butch Harmon. You know, Butch isn't everybody's like main coach now.
I get some Nico pouches too.
Buttsy. Trot says, let's get it going. So Trot, there's going to be a journey ahead. And I feel like it's too early to share. We're on the live portion right now, so I don't have to, like, I can talk about it a little bit, but there's some brands that have gotten on board and I'm going to be striving to, you know, get out there for the Grass League next year. I'm not saying this year because, I'm going to go through some health protocols and some workout routines, and I've got some training that I'm going to be doing golf-wise. So there's going to be a whole content piece that comes out of this that we'll talk about on the show, but also will be something that you will see on social media quite a bit.
We'll follow the journey.
Follow the journey, folks. I'm excited about it. I know it's going to be a grind. It's going to be tough, but to get my game back to a place to where I want it to be, you know, it got to be regimented, got to be structured. And I want to show people that, you know, you can absolutely still achieve things, even though you might have might be middle-aged, might be an executive at a company or just working at a company, and you've got a lot of responsibilities, family, and so forth. And sure enough, you can still do it. It just is going to take some hard work in order to do that, and hopefully I'll be an inspiration for some.
Hell yeah. And some drugs.
And some drugs. So Austin Whittington says, another Matt Cook comeback. Let's fucking go. Trot Golfer says, this will be amazing. I know. So I've set up all the pieces and everything. Got a bunch of sponsors behind me. So I'm looking forward to getting this done. And again, it's funny because Buttsy, you're the one that inspired me by playing in the Grass League Open qualifier under Phoenix United. And that was something that, I came out to watch, and being outside the ropes, I'm like, man, I really want to be inside the ropes. I don't want to be
your candle
outside watching. Yeah.
Hell
so
yeah.
I want to say thank you to you for making that happen. And Brent's speechless over there. He's in a Zen state.
We should all be doing our best. There's no excuse.
Really is. Yeah. Accountability is coming, Trot. So let's go ahead and get this episode started. I know Brent is just absolutely squirming over there to get this episode up and running. We were texting earlier today, and he's like, oh, I got all this stuff. I know all the people. And so we're going to get into it. We're going to get into all of that jazz. Brent is going to show off. He's going to flex a little bit on this episode, I feel like, when it comes to the longest day in golf. But without further ado, you guys ready? Buttsy, you ready? Brent, you ready? All right, here we go. In 3, 2, 1. Welcome back, everybody, to Pull Hook Golf, the podcast. I'm your host, Matt Cook. Tonight, we've got our co-host, the Buttsy. We've also got our tour insider and Brent Grant here with us, as well as we are going to have our 2025 US Open preview show. That's the pre to the preview, if you can't tell. And with that, folks, we do want to give a quick shout out, as it's obvious what our topic is tonight. But I want to give a shout out. We've got some new sponsors as well. So obviously, you guys know Devro Golf. DEVEREUX golf.com. Utilize the promo code PullHookGolf20 at checkout for 20% off your entire order at DevroGolf.com. I'm wearing their, I believe they call this the Pro Shop collection. So all white, got their little logo over here. One of them, anyways. I like this logo. It's very subtle. Butsy's in the back doing dances with his Devro Golf t-shirt on. And Brent came right off of the golf course. So we're going to be getting into all of this. He's been grinding. Now, we also want to give a shout out to our sponsors, Vice Golf. So Vice Golf is stepping it up with us as well. But Pull Hook, you can utilize that promo code, Pull Hook, at checkout at vicegolf.com. What I love about Vice Golf is that they're not their performance stuff. Like the golf balls are performance based. I personally play the Pro Plus, the Vice Pro Plus. But I was looking at their golf clubs too. And I'll tell you guys, well priced. When we're talking about last week, club manufacturers, a lot of people on the internet this past week talked about, through some of our clips and so forth, that, golf equipment's become very expensive. Vice Golf really hits a great price point with performance gear. You can buy their golf balls in bulk and get them for a heavy discount. So utilize the promo code PULLHOOK at checkout for 10% off at vicegolf.com. And that's for the golf ball side, folks. They do some cool promos too every month. So be on the lookout this month. They could be changing it up a little bit. But I also, last but not least, folks, I've got a club here. You might have seen this on the gram. I'm just going to bring this a little bit closer to the camera. Let's get this in frame here. My God. Ruben over at Custom Golf AZ. And that is Custom Golf AZ on Instagram, folks. He's putting together his website now. But a club fitter from PXG who has been doing custom coatings and all of the... He's been dialing me in for a little while now in terms of club fitting. He's going to be doing a lot of club making. You can tell there's the BB and Co. Farrell's on here. I believe this is called the Devil's Sunrise or something along those lines. But this is so sick. And the KBS shaft, want to give a shout out to KBS, which is right over here with the hat. But KBS is one of our sponsors hooking us up with shafts. So we want to give them a shout out. Best in the game right there. But these clubs, man, I tell you what, these were not in great shape when I sent them over to them. And I got back. These are raw tour blue finish. Okay. So they look just absolutely
They do look cool.
They're so dope. He took a video, put it on Instagram, but check him out over at Custom Golf AZ on Instagram. That is his main page. He also a while back refinished a putter for me as well as one for my wife as well. So one was all white, one is murdered out in black. I've got it over there, but I can't quite reach it. So, but again, if you're watching this, it is a Titleist 690 MB. He redid the entire set where it is brand spanking new with the KBS C taper shafts. All right. There we got our sponsorships out of the way. I know, I was kind of long-winded there a little bit, but
Not
I
at
will
all.
say this, man, between those three sponsors right there and KBS as well, we're really happy with where we're at, and Johnny Walker as well. So make sure to drink responsibly over the age of 21 years or older. There's going to be some more sponsors coming on board as well. That might become a long-winded. We're going to add some to the middle part of the episodes moving forward, so it's not all front-loaded for everybody. But let's get into it. We're going to start off with the tee-off report with Buttsy, who has the Metallica-looking Devereaux Augusta hat on right now. And Buttsy, looking back at the history of golf, man, what is golf missing?
What? Sorry.
I felt like we were in the Pledge of Allegiance standoff for a baseball game right there. Shoot.
What is the game of golf missing?
Let's reframe this, okay? So, looking back at the history of golf, what is golf missing?
Steroids. Steroids.
Really?
It's missing steroids. It's missing performance-enhancing drugs. Peptides. They got this thing coming out called the Enhanced Games. I think you guys have all seen it on Instagram for sure. If you haven't, look it up. It's where athletes across multiple sports are being appropriately followed by medical doctors, tested, but they're also being given the full gambit of performance-enhancing drugs that we have at our disposal these days in an effort to break records. And, somebody might say, well, huge muscles aren't good for golf, or at some point it's diminishing return. But there are a whole host of performance-enhancing drugs out there that don't necessarily make you big, but make you much faster, make your muscles fire faster, make you have longer, less time to exhaustion on the golf course. There'd be a whole bunch of shit that would go into it. So I'm just looking for the Barry Bonds, Mark McGwire era of golf. I want
You
to see
forgot
before
Sammy Sosa. It was
Sosa
the three of
as
them.
well. This my beautiful him too. But I just want to see before they roll this ball back, and Bryson obviously maxed it out as naturally as he possibly could, probably without really stepping over any lines in terms of being tested and stuff like that. I think there's room. I'd love to see it. We didn't have it with Tiger. That was everybody's like, he was on juice. No, he wasn't. No, he was not.
It's funny in our pre-production meeting / text chain, Brent was saying the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, you guys, you need to be around people that are really on this shit. He was on some good stuff, not maxed out though, and
no, not the Barry Bonds, like the cream.
No. There's room out there for guys to be really, really, really fast. I mean, I'm talking Larry Fitzgerald on juice with the ability to swing a club like Tiger Woods, like something like that. I've said it for years. When you got a guy that steps out of would have been a professional football player and he grows up playing golf and he's jacked out of his mind on performance enhancing drugs, what happens to the golf ball? What if he has touch and he flies at 440? Like, is that possible? Is that out there? I think it is. I mean, look at the long drive tour. Those guys aren't tested, right? Are they?
Well, look at Daly back in the
Yeah.
day, right? I mean, think if Daly was juiced and he just absolutely murdered it even like 100 yards further than he did, or yeah, he did used to. And he had some of the softest hands. You asked Phil Mickelson, you asked Tiger Woods, who had the best short game. I've heard from multiple people that both of those gentlemen have talked about that John Daly had the softest hands in golf and had the best short game by far.
For sure. I'm just curious to see what would happen, and again, it's not bodybuilding workouts or anything like that. Like, that you take stuff in bodybuilding to look a certain way and achieve a certain look. But in golf, I mean, look at this guy. I'm telling you, in the enhanced games, he's a swimmer. He was already a gold medal winner. And you look at the transformation that he's undergone and what he looks like now, when he's about to go and try to break these world records. If anybody like that played golf, like, holy fuck. So anyways, that's what's missing.
Well, we got a new audience member here. So obviously we got Trot Golfer on. We got Joe Bauer on. And we've got Joseph Del Giorio. Now, did you see this one, Buttsy?
Yeah.
So,
What's going on? Randy the Snake. Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Randy the pet wall snake. R.I.P. Randy.
There you go.
Long
So
time ago.
Butsy's got some friends coming on to the episode now. Love that. And
Joe
welcome,
Power.
everybody. Yeah, join in, chime in. We love to see it. Beta blockers, Trot says, mixed with HGH. So
Yeah. Beta blockers, the anti-yip medication of the future.
is he?
You know what beta blockers are?
I don't think I do.
Beta blockers are heart meds that control your heart rate. So what guys were doing is they were taking these heart meds because it wouldn't allow your heart rate to get into a yip situation where, like, you could have anxiety and you have that racing heart out on the golf course. Couldn't do it. And they got caught for that and finally kind of put a stop to it. But yeah, imagine if you were so worked up and your heart never got over, 90 beats.
Man.
Be a little easier to perform.
Yeah. Sure wouldn't have the yips for sure. Scottie Holdridge over on X. Have we covered the dentist yet? Not yet.
No,
We're about to get into the longest day in golf. So that was a fun little segment there, Buttsy, with the steroid era. We haven't had it in golf, and man, unfortunately the drug tests are going, so we're probably never going to see it. But it could have been quite fun to see guys bombing at 450 and having soft hands like John Daly.
Yeah.
It sure would be interesting.
For
I always
sure.
said too, like, the only way to level the playing field completely is just to allow anybody to do anything to themselves. I always thought that, it's their body to be able to do what they want. And if they're willing to put in that and sacrifice, I mean, playing golf, whoever saw the documentary on HBO about Tiger Woods knows about sacrifice, because, man, that dude did not have a life playing through junior golf and everything. Golf was his life, and he was forced to do it for the most part. So,
The aid, just to finish real quick, the aid with that stuff, it's more so in recovery, right? Like, pitchers were on it in the major leagues, not because they bombed the baseball, but because it allowed them to go throw, 15 nights in a row and get up and be healed and do it again.
yeah.
Imagine that for the longevity of a 4-day golf tournament when you're out there walking and you're absolutely exhausted. If you woke up half as exhausted every day, that's a pretty big performance benefit. So it's not just, speed and power. It's that too.
Yeah, for sure. All right, let's get into the longest day in golf, which I got to ask you guys, and I'm going to start with you, Brent. I mean, because you've got some strong opinions around some of this stuff, but who's got the longest day moniker? Because we heard it with the Grass League Open qualifier this year, and now obviously with the US Open qualifier, which kind of was the original OG longest day in golf, where guys are playing 36 holes, are playing pretty much all day. Which one is the longer day, Brent?
Well, I believe isn't the Grass League qualifier 18 holes,
It's only 18 holes.
and it's
But with
a
how
long day.
many?
2-man scramble.
Yep.
Okay,
Very
on
long
a
day.
par 3 course.
On a par 3 course.
Okay, cool. All right, so the opposite of that would be 18 holes by yourself, walking, playing that golf course twice in the same day, almost 100% certain that 6 a.m., 5 a.m. wake up at the latest to a 7 p.m. finish. I think that's
So I think Grass League, just so that I kind of set the table properly, because I probably didn't at the beginning of this. I kind of baited you a bit, but the Grass League states it because of the starting time of the first group to the last group that plays, because they go from early in the morning all the way through to like what did it go till, Buttsy? Like midnight?
But one
like
person
2
isn't playing
like 2
all
a.m.
day. One person isn't playing all day. That's kind of the.
That's why I started with you,
For
Brent.
sure.
I knew you were going to bring the heat on that one. Buttsy, what do you think when it comes to the longest day in golf? Who owns that moniker now?
What do you mean?
So is it the U.S. Open qualifier that owns that moniker, or is it the Grass League because of the amount of the period of time that qualifier goes on for?
For the individual, the U.S. Open, for the venue, like the totality of the day, the Grass League.
Wow, love it. Okay. We got through that one with ease, gentlemen. Let's talk about the longest day in golf, U.S. Open style. So there's some standout stories that took place. And Brent, I know that you've been keeping a close eye on all of this. Well, let's talk about some of these standout stories. First off, Cameron Young wins in a playoff. And, Fowler was in that qualifier. Max Homa was in there. In Ohio, both of them fell short, so they're not going to be in the U.S. Open. There's also a few guys as well, but let's talk for a second about a little bit of drama, because Max Homa split again with another caddy after only a couple weeks with him. Yeah. So that's why he was carrying his own bag. It started as kind of this feel-good story, and then they started asking him, and insiders started telling news outlets and so forth what was really going on. And Max Homa has lost another caddy.
Brent loves it.
We've lost Brent.
I mean, come on with this shit already. This guy kills me. This guy absolutely kills. So he gets fired by one of his closest friends, and for whatever reason decides that can't find a person for 36 holes and decides to carry his bag. What more of a reason would one person have other than just spitefulness to go do that? That is unbelievable.
He was
especially after 4 days at the Memorial, getting paid God knows how much money, getting X number of points. Like, this is ridiculous at this point. This guy is living the high life. He's got a great family. He's super happy for him off the golf course. But every decision he has made as far as golf is concerned over the last year and a half has done nothing but to show him as somebody that makes a ton of excuses and points fingers at those that really have nothing to do with who hits the shot. It's ridiculous. I mean, come on.
Poopies.
Yeah, poopy pants shit.
Yep. I will say this. It does seem like Homa's going through something.
Yeah, clearly.
And on course, off course. I don't know if necessarily the off course is going as well as you think it might be going, because, having somebody who's complaining a lot, and he did reference this within his post round, kind of when media was asking him and so forth. He didn't want to talk about the caddy situation, but he did say, he alluded to it a little bit, to where he's like, well, there's nobody else out there to blame other than myself when I'm just out there by myself.
Sure,
so
which means
which means that there's somebody to blame when somebody's there.
Thank you.
Yeah. Exactly. And I think he's aware of that.
I mean, I fucking poop comment.
It is, but at least he's aware of it. And it might not be something that he can necessarily control right now.
Actually, that maybe you're right, though. Maybe that is what he means by it. I would rather not have the outlet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think everybody goes through stuff, but I mean, the fact that he, I don't think there's anybody that disagrees that signing with Lulu was a good idea, but getting rid of the golf company that had been with you since God knows how long, and then coach, and then who knows who else. I mean, obviously he got fired by his caddy. I mean, it's pretty clear that there's something else going on that is almost like he's just shooting from the hip right now, and he's not really sure where he stands with a few things. He probably got thrown for a loop with having a kid, which I can tell you it absolutely does that. But I'm very surprised that for somebody that is as comfortable as he is, seems to be having trouble with the simplest of things.
I think he's just lost, man. Like a lot of people attach their personalities to their golf game, and when it's not going well, they're not a happy person. I've seen it numerous times, and it's
I'm guilty of
unfortunate.
that.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, and it's something that you got to learn from and realize that you can't attach your personality and your mood to your golf game. Like that's got to be something that's separate. And you would think that a pro golfer would have realized this and already have gone down that path, but everybody learns in their own way in different times. But I do want to go back to the fact that Max Homa, so all he needed to do was make birdie on the par 5, the last hole. He hit the green in 2, 3 putts in order to go into that playoff.
Oof.
Devastating. And then from there, obviously loses in the playoff. So did Ricky Fowler, Eric Cole, and Chase Johnson. So that was in Ohio. Let's move along to Atlanta, where Mason Howell, teenage amateur. Who wants to talk about this kid?
I don't know enough about him to speak on that. So
Brent,
please enlighten me.
I just know that he's an amateur teenage phenom. 17-year-old high school kid, and he absolutely dominated the pros at a great club, the Piedmont Driving Club. I had a buddy whose dad was a member out there in Atlanta, and there was 83 players for 5 U.S. Open spots, and he finished with a bogey-free 36 holes with 16 birdies, tailing the 18 under par total. That's crazy. 17-year-old kid. This is kind of like the Blades Brown situation that we've talked about that Brent absolutely loves when Buttsy brings up Blades Brown.
He's a big Blades fan. He's a fan. I'm sorry. Huge Blades fan. Did he get in?
I don't think so, no.
Brent knows. He was watching.
Brent does know.
You better not get in.
I hope the kid plays great, but man, he's
dude, it's gonna be tough for a 17-year-old kid to play great at Oakmont. Like,
well,
that's a tall task, man.
I mean, if it seems like he might be a local guy there, which either way, I mean, you got to make it through locals, which is not easy, and you got to place high enough to get the site that you want. Seems like that's the case, but it also seems like he's found something, and that the golf course fit his eye. He probably was able to spend a fair amount of time at that golf course leading up to it. But what a great opportunity for him. I don't suggest that he turns pro after the U.S. Open. I think if he does, he'd be an idiot. But that seems to be the thing now, is just these short-sighted individuals. So
you do hate to see it, because there's so much growth that needs to happen mentally, especially in the game. It's not just about your physical talent. And that's where, like, going through college and kind of figuring it out. Yeah, for free and getting paid now. So it's like,
they get paid now, right?
Yeah, dude. Let's go to a D1 college and go get some money and get a free education.
So ridiculous.
And get fucking good.
You kidding me? Like, the best times were in college. That's where you get to drink, party, have fun, be a part of a golf team. Like, it's an absolute blast.
Yeah. I'm gonna go back. Still qualify for all that shit.
Oh, absolutely. Exactly. Yeah. And I'm going to go back to Scottie Holdridge here off of X. He goes, have we covered the dentist yet? Here you go. So pay attention. Former Oakmont caddy, now dentist, qualifies for his home open. How cool would that be? You grow up caddying at a major golf course. I mean, this would be like caddying over at Silverleaf growing up. And then all of us, or Whisper Rock. And then all of a sudden, for us Scottsdale guys, right? And all of a sudden, you've got where you have an opportunity to qualify for the U.S. Open, and you'll be playing that golf course. I wonder if he knows the green still.
Probably.
I don't think
they changed that much, right?
I mean, they go through some redesigns and so forth, but I don't think they've probably changed all that much. So I would imagine he's got a pretty good idea to this golf course. But being a dentist, I mean, talk about inspiration, right? Of keeping your game in shape. That dude's got a full-time job. I don't know if he has a family or whatnot, but he obviously has responsibilities that isn't just golf.
Yes.
And I mean, that's very, very inspiring to hear and see. There's some others in there as well that obviously qualify. We're kind of skipping over some of the other names, but I feel like the big stories are the ones that we want to focus in on. And then in New Jersey, we've got amateur Ben James and pro James Nicholas. So James Nicholas is big on social media, New York, a city guy, and makes his first US Open, I believe, in New Jersey. So he's going to Oakmont. Great story. He was crying after the round, talking to reporters and stuff. Like, he was emotional. And I think that's okay. Buttsy, what do you think? We've talked about crying before.
Oh, man, I would bawl. I don't think I'd be able to hold that back. I think that'd probably be where I wouldn't expect myself to go there. I think that would just be like an overwhelming thing that's probably where I would go with it as well. I think I would probably break down and tears of joy would roll down my face. And then I'd probably eat something so sick.
Oh, man. And then Trot wants to know, Brent, do you know Brady Calkins?
I know him well.
Yep. I know Brady.
Yep.
You know Brady.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Brady was dominated the Dakotas Tour for a while. Never quite made it through Q School. Has struggled a bit off the course. Kind of just fallen into just certain things. And then qualifies for the Corn Ferry Tour. I think it was last year or the year before. Just kind of shits the bed, unfortunately, and then drops off the planet. But apparently he's still playing, so he's qualified, and I love the guy. He's a testament to what perseverance and it really is, and I wish him all the best. He's a good dude.
That's dope.
So Austin Whittington wants to know, can we talk about the hate Evan Thompson got on Twitter? I'm not familiar.
You mean the kid that thinks yeah, I've seen his videos a couple times.
What did he say? What was so controversial?
I don't know what he said. I don't know anything other than that, he's kind of playing it as if he is kind of, like a big deal. And he's got some influence with certain people in the social media realm, and he's kind of been able to use his play to kind of build the deal up, and he's, I mean, if you watch his social media, you would think he's basically a tour pro, but I don't know what he said. Maybe somebody can Austin can
what did he say? Please elaborate. I have no
elaborate
idea.
Austin, if you could type that in. We'll table that one for the time being, because there was also some notable qualifying dramas and heartaches. Okay, Mark Leishman being one of Live Golf did not have a good outing or showing for these qualifiers. No. They didn't last year either, because what do we know about Live Golf? Once you get past like the top 10, it really starts to fall off. Yes, these guys have had names. Yes, they've won PGA Tour events. Some of them have won majors, but their talent level now is not what it once was. And they're at the end of their careers. But Mark Leishman is in Maryland. Live Golf veteran Mark Leishman had to survive a playoff at Woodmont Country Club to grab his spot. So, I guess that one he did end up getting. At Springfield, Ohio site, PGA Tour pro Zach Blair dueled an amateur, John Peterson, through 4 extra playoff holes for finally securing his spot. Even overseas players made noise. At the lone Canadian site, PGA Tour winner Emiliano Grillo drained a birdie on his final hole to clinch his U.S. Open berth. Then we've got here, here's the players that came up short. So out of 25 Live golfers who entered final qualifying, only Leishman and Mexico's Carlos Ortiz managed to advance. Others like Sebastian Munoz. Actually, Munoz is no longer, isn't Oh no, he is. Sorry, I'm thinking of Echeverria. And then Jason Kokrak, he missed out.
Yeah.
Past champion struggled too. 2012 U.S. Open winner Webb Simpson missed the cut at North Carolina's qualifier by a single stroke. 51-year-old Padraig Harrington, he fell just short in Ohio. Longtime PGA Tour stalwarts Matt Kuchar and Adam Hadwin also failed to qualify. There was even heartbreak in one golf dynasty. This is the one that I was thinking of when I'm like, man, Liv once again, but it wasn't a Liv player. Okay. The Liv player was actually caddying. It was Luke Poulter, son of Ian Poulter. He finished 10 under in Florida, but lost in a playoff for the final spot, leaving him as an alternate, which might get in. Who knows? Somebody might not,
Get sick or who knows?
yeah, you never
You'd hate
know.
you'd hate to get sick for that tournament, wouldn't you?
I know I saw a post by Lee Westwood, which him and I have had words on Twitter before. And
Really?
sure enough, we've gone back and forth on a couple things, but I did see he wrote this really nice post about Luke and Ian, and I just said, I love that for them. Really do. So great stuff there. I didn't know that he missed out up until earlier after he had posted that, because I don't think the results were in yesterday before that. But anyways, that is the longest day in golf. Let's see. Austin Whittington has chimed in with giving us a little bit more background. He finished way behind an Atlanta YouTube golfer. Many think he has fabricated scores like a 59. Just found it interesting, all the hate, but to his credit, he did qualify.
Well, can't fabricate that.
So, I mean, it is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have much on it because I haven't done a whole lot of research around Evan Todd. I don't even know who he is. So I guess that's the problem.
I think like Austin said, he's a YouTube guy. I think he's got some sort of playing history, but it's
Okay.
He's
right,
qualified
Brent,
for the U.S. Open and blew up about it.
We're going to test you real quick here. Darkside D says, anyone know the alternate priority?
So
like
it's
who
based
gets in from the different
of,
locations?
Yeah. So from what I understand, the alternate priority list is based off of strength of field. So generally, who was there, what it took to qualify. Generally, you can't get in as an alternate unless somebody from your site drops out. So that's how they kind of get rid of, they make it fair for everybody that, just because somebody drops off in Springfield doesn't necessarily mean somebody from California is going to get in. So I'm happy to be wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure that's what it is. I don't necessarily love that, but it's just.
Brent's got some internet connection issues, but I believe what he's saying too, he'll correct me if I'm wrong here, but the only time they go to strength of field is if somebody drops out that didn't qualify to get in. Is that right?
So the qualified, like ranked alternate priority really isn't necessarily a major thing. That's if everybody drops out from, let's say that nobody in the one or two alternate spot can go from Ohio, let's just say, then the next one down would fill that spot.
Well, what I'm saying, Brent, so let's say that like Scottie Scheffler gets injured and he misses the US Open, an alternate is going to fill in that spot. Am I correct on that?
I believe
they
that's
would go
correct.
to strength of field at that point.
Correct. Yep.
Okay.
So, for example, it also depends on if, so when I qualified in 2023, a buddy of mine was first alternate and was there. I don't know how many alternates were there, but I suppose he waited around and was the only one on the range when I left. So, I think that makes a difference. But I think it's also who's willing to travel as far as during the week alternates.
What a year to qualify to for a U.S. Open for you. LA Country Club.
Yeah,
Tosh talk about. I mean, shoot, that place is a gem.
Yeah.
And I feel like that was a little bit more of a fun U.S. Open in some ways. Like US Opens are not fun. Can we state that? Is that
They're
controversial?
not
Yeah,
supposed to be.
I think
Right.
the golf. I mean, fun for everybody. No, I don't think the spectators had a ton of fun. I don't think the golf club necessarily loved the fact that they were getting a ton of shit for what they did, but and
Well,
also
Well,
at the same
I'm also
time they got
talking about just US Opens in general. That they're
yeah.
not
I mean,
known from
they're supposed
players
to be a
that they're
pain in the ass.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be torture. It's kind of like watching the Saw movie. You're gonna get tortured before you're able to get out of there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the whole point.
I mean, I would
Actually,
love a
love
golf
that
tournament where
parallel.
even would win, because then that would really make a difference. But
So I've got a great question as we get into the preview. Get outside of the longest day. Let's get into the actual US Open itself. And Buttsy, which US Open venue is harder, Oakmont or Shinnecock?
Oakmont. I think.
Brent's shaking his head over there. Brent, who you got then?
I mean, Shinnecock is like the number was way higher at Shinnecock than it was at Oakmont when Dustin Johnson won.
I think Oakmont this year is going to be just absolutely disgusting.
Oh, it's super hard, but the way Shinnecock is designed and the way it played, I mean, guys were doing crazy things. I mean, Phil had that thing where he putted it off the green or almost putted it off the green or whatever it was.
Kicked it back.
Yeah, and they
Yeah.
lost the yeah.
He wanted the 2-shot penalty because he didn't want to have, like, he actually thought that he would make a worse score if he let it go.
You can always just replay the shot, which I think is interesting. But
I did not know that until that, so that was
Yeah.
interesting.
you could literally he could have just taken a 1-stroke penalty and hit the putt again. But
Yeah, good point.
hard to know that in the moment. But I mean, to me, Oakmont is about as pure of a U.S. Open spot as there is. Long, difficult off the tee, difficult into the greens, and the greens are rolling a 16. So there's no, it's not tricked out. It's not that they have to do anything to the golf course necessarily. Just grow the rough out and keep the greens as they normally are.
Do you think Shinnecock gets tricked out?
I think it has to be in order for it to, I mean, look at what they did. I mean, they lost multiple greens, and obviously the weather had a little bit to play. It did get pretty windy, but Oakmont is so pure. There's nothing about it that you have to do anything necessarily to make it harder.
Well, that's what Mike Wan was talking about a few months ago. To when they asked him, they're like, "Hey, is Oakmont going to be ready for the U.S. Open?" He goes,
It's always
"Oakmont's
ready.
right now
It's
for a
always
U.S. Open."
Yes.
He's like, "We're months away," and now you see where they did this overseeding with the rough, and this stuff is gnarly. Not only is it long and thick, but the golf ball goes down to the bottom.
You'll see it get cut.
It looks
You think
awful.
so?
Absolutely.
I don't think so. I
So-
think they keep it. I think they want, once again, I think Mike Wan he was in place last year too, wasn't he? For Pinehurst? Yeah.
For
How many US Opens has Mike Wan been a part of the USGA as the head of it?
3 or 4.
I think this is the one though for him that he's like, we're gonna have a US Open. This is the venue. We're gonna have guys shoot over par. I mean, the rough right now is so crazy, and it's not just thick and deep though. The ball, somehow they figured out this overseed in the rough that actually mixed two different types together, and it sits all the way down at the bottom of it. Like it barely ever sits up. And so it's going to be one of those US Opens where you have to hit fairways.
There's going to be guys in the rough that can't get wedge back to the fairway. I
Exactly.
think. Like,
so that's kind of what I'm saying. So for example, at LA, they brought in a few fairways and kept the rough pretty thick leading into the week, and then the week prior they went out and literally widened certain fairways and ended up chopping the rough. Part of the reason why they did that, it's not a deep. What did he say?
He said the field. That's why it's not a deep field given the conditions. I think is what he's saying. Is
oh, okay. So only a few.
We're gonna get to that.
Yeah.
That's actually what
that's
is
a huge
next.
point.
Is who are the realistic contenders? So we'll get into that topic in just a second. So yeah, let's keep this conversation going though, because I will say this: I think Shinnecock is the harder of the two,
Mhm.
However, Oakmont is the more pure test for a
Absolutely.
US Open.
Absolutely agree.
That's where I just,
Yep.
it's going to be fun to
Oh.
watch the misery.
Oh,
It's
it's
going to
so
be
good.
like watching the movie Saw. Like I said, there's going to be a lot of guys
Well-
that aren't willing to lose fingers, to lose limbs in order to survive. They're gonna die out there. So
What's the Trot might need to do the research for us real quick, but what's the highest winning score in a US Open in the last, like, I don't know, 20 years?
it's a good question.
You know, like how bad have they made it in the last 20 years? And then, like, is that going to be eclipsed this week?
I also think that Oakmont is long enough to where
2004.
length isn't going to be the ultimate advantage. Like it's going to obviously be an advantage, but accuracy
Depends on the
and
weather too.
length is going to be what is ultimately going to matter, which
Let's check. What city is that in? I know it's in
it's
Pennsylvania.
in Pittsburgh.
It's
You're
in
going to win a
Pittsburgh?
hole from 220 in the middle of the fairway versus, 125 in the rough.
So I
Think
mean, it's
about
raining. It's raining all this week into next week.
Oh my God,
So
really?
It's going to
yeah.
be some lettuce out
So
there.
so this is kind of what I'm saying, right? So
They may cut it.
They have to
may
cut
cut
it.
it.
They have
Well,
to
yeah,
cut it.
they're going to cut it, but it's going to be the length that it probably is right now.
I mean, it's gonna be about 4 inches, 3.5 to 4 inches, but it doesn't
Here's
have to
another-
be super long.
There's another friendly bet. I'm just going to throw this out there. How many guys pull out of the tournament or get injured from the rough? Like, is anybody going to call out a
6.
strain? Do you think that happens?
I'm
6.
going to say over under 3. So
Like,
Brent's
trying
over.
their ass off to gouge out of this shit because it is the U.S. Open. You're not going to hold back.
6.
Rose
I mean,
+1. So
Brent's going with
+1 is the
6.
highest.
+1, that's Marion, and then Brooks. I
Brooks,
don't remember
He
where
said
his
Brooks
was.
kept it +1 in like
2018.
18.
Was that the year before or after Dustin won his U.S. Open at Oakmont?
God, it might have been.
Oh,
what-
Brooks won it at Shinnecock. Duh.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Brooks won it at like 8 or 9 under or something like that.
So here's the next question that I have for you guys about the U.S. Open preview.
Yeah.
After winning the Memorial for a second time, do you guys think it's Scottie's time? Like, does this course match up for Scottie Scheffler the way the Memorial does and
No.
some of these other golf courses?
Scottie's going to win. He's going to win.
I don't think it matches up. Do I want to say he's not going to win? No. But it's probably going to come down to somebody like a Ludwig that is just.
Wow, you like Ludwig this week?
I do. I think he's.
We haven't even, or next week.
I think it might be somebody like that that is just so orthodox and so. Oh, there you go. Miguel Cabrera.
+5 at Oakmont.
Yeah.
I remember that one.
I think it was raining and pissy the whole time. But yeah, I think it's just going to come down to somebody like that. I think the reason is Scottie likes to work the golf ball. It's not that he's incapable of hitting it straight. Obviously, he's the best ball striker on tour. But he does win at places where the greens sort of do the thing, where they kind of
do the thing.
They're big openings and they kind of feed and such. And Oakmont is just, it's just tiny. It's like every single green is such small targets. And honestly, the other part about it is that when he plays with the top players, the first couple of rounds, he doesn't necessarily get out there and crush it. So,
Buttsy, what about you, man? You said it's Scottie's time. Scottie's going to do it. What are you thinking this week or next week?
I think he's just going to put it in play, and maybe the 3 or 4 holes out there where he can get something down there that's relatively short off the tee, he's going to outmatch people. I mean, and what I mean by that is 6 iron into a green, 5 iron into a green. He's going to have 10 footers. He's going to find a way to do that. And other guys aren't going to have distance control and get that done. And then they're going to fall apart when they hit it in the rough. I just think he's going to fucking chip it around out there in the short stuff and shoot. I'm going to say right now, 4 under, 3 or 4 under for the tournament and win by probably 3 shots.
Wow. I do like Scottie this week. I think Oakmont in the condition, if they keep that rough the way that it is, And if Scottie can be as accurate as he has been recently with the driver, I think Scottie's got a really good chance because those approach shots from Scottie Scheffler are unmatched. Like typically, and he actually did not strike the ball very well at Memorial for approach shots. Like I think he left a few out there and he ended up dominating that golf tournament. So for me, Scottie Scheffler is starting to reach his peak for this season, let's say. And I do think Scottie Scheffler has a really good shot at winning the US Open this year. But again, let's see. Well, let's see what happens. I don't think it is as obvious as last week was with the Memorial. So let's talk about the contenders, because who are the realistic contenders at the US Open this year? And I put together a little list here on the PGA Tour side, and I wonder if you guys agree, disagree, and so forth. But PGA Tour wise, we got Scottie Scheffler, we got Rory McIlroy, who's got a chance to win, Xander Schauffele, Justin Thomas, Ludwig Oberg, and Colin Morikawa. Those are the guys that I've listed. Can you guys think of anybody else from the PGA Tour side that has a shot at this? And then we'll go over Live next.
Sepp Straka.
Sepp, yeah, I was gonna say Sepp.
Sepp has been playing
The
great.
lefty,
Strong.
the lefty
He doesn't bomb it
McIntyre.
that far though.
I
No,
think
I'm just saying
McIntyre's
he's got
pretty straight.
to get
He's got the girth.
yeah.
Who else did you say, Buttsy?
I think Robert McIntyre.
Bobby Mack.
Bobby Mack.
That's
It all depends
possible.
on the weather, man. I think if it's planned the way that it should play, firm, fast, and playing its hardest, I think that's where the guy that hits it long and straight off the tee and can land long irons soft, a guy like Rory, a guy like Xander, guys that are long enough. And the reason why I think Colin doesn't necessarily stand a whole lot of chances because he doesn't his mid to long iron game is, I'm not saying he's bad at it, obviously he's very good, but he's not necessarily the greatest on the big long courses. I mean, the PGA that he won was at TPC Harding Park, which is anything but a long golf course.
Trot disagrees with you. He says Colin's going to hit the most fairways. It's his week. Austin Whittington says that Russell Henley is a guy to look out for.
Great putter.
Yeah, so I mean, there's some options out there. Now let's talk about, anybody else you want to add, Buttsy? I don't want to cut you off short.
No, that's
it.
You covered the bases.
What about Preston Summerhays, the amateur?
No, absolutely not. And I like Summerhays.
Scottsdale kid, come on.
I know, and I like his dad too, but yeah, no. Live Golf. I'm shutting that one down.
No offense.
No offense to him whatsoever. Hell of a player.
Got a couple years.
Live golf wise, I think there's only two players that have a chance, and that's Bryson DeChambeau and John Rahm. Is there anybody else
Brooks?
that you guys think? So I thought about this before putting this together, and I'm like, I think Brooks is back in his head again. Where remember when he joined Live, he didn't know if he was ever going to be able to compete at that level again.
Oh, saved his career. Yeah.
I think he's actually back to kind of that. Like, I'm not inside the head of Brooks Koepka, okay? So don't sit here. This is not for gospel. I'm just going off of what my eyes are telling me. It would be great if I was. I wonder, like, what he thinks about. Oh, hey, there's Jenna. Oh, hey, there's the baby. Oh, hey. But realistically, with Brooks Koepka, I just didn't see that at the Masters. I didn't see it at the PGA Championship. Mm-hmm. And it looks like he's struggled with his actual mechanics. When that happens, all of a sudden he starts getting in his head. And he's the one that said, hey, you can't find it on the range the Wednesday before the tournament. Like, you're going in with what you got.
Fair.
And I don't think I have seen anything from him that tells me he will be a contender this week. And that's unfortunate because he's a great one to watch coming down under pressure.
Yeah.
I agree. I mean, he's a great competitor. Obviously, he kind of fits the bill for kind of what most of us strive for, that kind of swagger.
What about Joaquin?
Dude,
I don't like him at all.
You can't hit the broadside of a barn off the tee. So,
okay.
Joaquin, I feel like is every Live Golf fan is just living for the day that Joaquin Niemann plays well in a major.
Yeah, that's kind of why I said it.
Can we touch on guys of that build and kind of we'll get there. You just go ahead. I had an
Well, I don't
idea
think,
that popped in my head.
truth be told, I don't think I would have a great opportunity at Oakmont, or, I mean, you are actually, for your size, Brent, you're pretty damn strong. Like, you have a very strong golf swing. And what I mean is that, like, a thin, slender guy like a Joaquin Niemann, it's probably going to
Yeah,
have
I
some
mean he's
struggles in that
130
rough.
pounds. Yeah,
He's
I
going
mean
to have some struggles in there.
that's kind of what I was saying. I think part of the problem with some of these guys that are battling injury is that the moment that you make one golf swing of any speed out of 4-inch thick rye Kentucky bluegrass, whatever the hell they're making over there, your entire body takes a fucking hike, man. It goes,
Yeah.
oh God, and then never wants to do that again. And then you start guiding it off the tee everywhere you go.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
if you have to do that 4 or 5 times or 6 times in a round, might not feel so good.
I mean, so and the other thing is too, right? I mean, it's what 7,600 yards.
It's a deep golf course.
It's super long. We just said that it's raining all this week. Okay, it's rained a shitload this spring, which is part of why the grass is so thick to begin with. But then that also means that the fairways are going to be soft, unless it picks up, blows 50, after this week, which who knows. But that also means that if you hit in the rough, the ball's not going to go very far at all, which means you probably got a similar club that you would from the fairway hitting 3. So
I'm going to be honest with you guys. I'm glad I'm not playing in the U.S. Open.
I wanted to play so bad, dude.
I know you did.
I love that. I would love an opportunity to play a golf course like that again.
I just have no interest. And just like Kyle over at Cart Barn Guy says, basically like the 10th tee at Parker. It really is.
Be right back.
I mean, it's very, very close.
It is basically every hole is basically like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Rolling out a 16. I mean, it's tough.
Yeah, it's a tough deal there. Probably one of the hardest holes on the planet outside of what you'd find on the front 9 at Hero, but pretty close.
I mean, let's talk about that. I mean, how does this golf course even come close to? I mean, why don't we just always talk about that?
Well, they can't.
We are not going on a rant about the Hero World Challenge.
Come on. I mean, it's so important to the
now,
game of golf. That's what
right
the golf world needs.
Course breakdown. What makes Oakmont so difficult? And so here's the question, right? The difficulty, the rough, the church pew bunkers, the lightning fast greens. Mm-hmm. Which aspect is the toughest out there at Oakmont? Brent, you start us off.
Well, I mean, it's got to be the rough. I mean, the fact that, like we said, even if they chop it to 3.5 inches, okay, that's the ball's still going straight. In fact, actually, if they chop it, it's going to make it even harder because it just makes it super duper thick. So it's yeah. I mean,
which one is it?
You
got bogey. 3 to pick from.
It's bogey. It's the rough.
Okay, Buttsy, what about you, man?
Well, just getting back to the Hero, if that course, if they could grow grass like that on an island, then it's like game over. That's a winning score, the plus 30 to 40 range. So we'll get that out of the way. But yeah, it's got to be the rough and just what that's going to do to you mentally when you're standing on the box. And it's a par 4 that's 500 yards. And yeah, you have to absolutely bang the shit out of one. And God, if you see that thing flying a foot offline, there's a bogey or worse. So that'll probably wear you out.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty, I feel like, obvious that it is the rough, but, the greens, it's the rough. Let's just be honest about it.
It's the fucking rough.
It's the rough. It's not the church pew bunkers. Like, yeah, those are deadly at times. Those can be a blow up. Like, you can end up with a triple bogey real fast if you get caught up in one of those. So there's some, it's going to be a beast of a week next
from
week.
The east.
Yep. We're not even going to get into the RBC Heritage up in Canada this week. If you're interested in that, you can find
Go watch
something else.
something else.
Yep. Because we're still on the good old US Open. But I did want to talk about Live Golf just for a second again. So neither of you. So Brooks Koepka was the only name that really came up. Joaquin Niemann, Buttsy, you threw that out there just to get some material out there.
Yeah.
Anybody else that you guys think from the Live Golf side?
I think Patrick Reed played well in the Masters. Obviously, the golf course suits him, but we don't really hear about him much. And it would be interesting to see if the cheater guy can, putt his way around that place. And
I'm sticking with
Might do
Bryson
well.
and John Rahm as the only two that have a.
I don't think John even has stands a chance. Bryson,
I think John does.
for sure, but
I think John got a taste for it at the PGA Championship, and that's something that you need to have those nerves going on again under pressure.
yeah, U.S. Open's a whole other thing.
There
And not
is,
at 40.
by the way, some practice round chaos so forth coming out of Oakmont. Apparently,
yeah.
Adam Scott shot 3 over after hitting every fairway on the front 9. Okay. Rory McIlroy tripled the second hole and bogeyed the 280-yard par 3 8th hole after hitting a 3-wood. This is Rory McIlroy. Had to hit a 3-wood on the par 3. I mean, this course is no joke. That is for sure.
They'll play that tee once.
It's a beast of a
So
hole.
the reason why I said what I said earlier about what certain pros did at LA Country Club is because these guys were playing, and we know that they played because they're going out there to be like, you need to change this, you need to change that, and there's kind of this back and forth that happens to where guys just flat out says like, listen, we're gonna just do this if you don't make this change. For example, on 18 at LA Country Club, because they decided to bring the rough all the way in from the left, guys just said, well, we'll ship it down number 1 if you don't widen this fairway. And then, of course, that's what they did and made 18 just a pretty much nothing hole to begin with. So it was unfortunate, but hopefully they don't make too many changes to Oakmont because it is, as you said, one of the most pure, if not the purest U.S. Open event.
I think it's the purest test of
I agree.
golf. Darkside D says Rahm flames out lately. Olympics is what he points to, and also Quail Hollow. And I mean, there's no disagreement there. I mean, and when he won for the first time on Live and he beat Terrell Hatton, his own teammate, he almost choked that one in. Like, you could see the nerves in real time during that tournament. So yeah, I think he's got some issues with some nerves ever since he went over to Live for whatever reason. I don't think it's a Live thing, but I do think that he's got some nerves that he's dealing with. Maybe it's when you kind of falter a little bit, like you've been at the pinnacle, you've been at the highest level playing your best golf and you kind of peak, and then all of a sudden you have that downturn. Getting back to that peak level, that's a tough thing to do. Cart Barn Guys wants to know, how's the blue check feel? So I don't know what you're referring to. On Instagram, we finally got it. So that was a long time coming.
Oh yeah.
We finally got the blue check mark on Instagram. They wouldn't even let me pay for the longest time because it wasn't in my name. And that was the only way they were going to verify. So
Yep.
yeah, I think that's what
It's
you're
a big
referring
deal.
to.
It's a big deal.
We believe in the blue check mark. Big blue check
believe.
mark guys, this crew. Okay, let's move it on. So obviously, the next question, which is pretty obvious after hearing about these practice rounds, Buttsy, will we have an over par winner this year? I think
I don't know, man. I don't think so.
You already referred to Scottie Scheffler winning at 3 to 4 unders. I think your answer is probably no.
I think he's going to find a way to somehow be under par by the end of it. And I think there might be him and maybe one other guy.
Brent, what about you, man? What are you thinking? Over par?
2 over.
2 over.
Ooh, you think so?
I think the fact that you said it, Matt, the fact that you gotta be able to withstand some torture out there, which means You got to cut off a limb or two just to be able to survive. And that doesn't happen just on one day. That's a decision that those guys have to make every other hole in some cases. So depending on how you hit it off the tee, Justin Rose would be a phenomenal dark horse. I don't think he hits it well enough off the tee, but nor does he hit it high enough with his long irons. But we'll see.
So I got a random thought based off of, as you were talking about, well, I will tell you, Scottie Scheffler, to me, as I'm thinking about this, Scottie's dealt with some, like, he's got a little bit of a temper. Like, he gets frustrated out there.
Yeah.
And he's not the easiest bag. Like, early on, we had his caddy on before he went to Ted Scott. And he was reluctant, but ended up getting into it that Scottie Scheffler's a really tough bag. Now, obviously, him and Ted Scott have this great dynamic. I think Scottie's matured a bit. But as we know, like we talked about it, we're like, we don't know what Scottie Scheffler does for mental preparation. Like, is he actually practicing breath work? Is he actually like doing any type of mental like work on his game? And we kind of all said, and I believe it was Buttsy who said this, is that it's God who he trains. And that is certainly, it's helpful. There's other ways of going about mental preparation without necessarily knowing it, like preparation, like literally going through a routine over and over and over again and relying on that routine, because it takes your mind off of the situation at hand and allows you or your subconscious to actually do the action. But I just wonder with Scottie Scheffler, that's why I'm not sure about him at Oakmont. I wonder how he's going to do when there's a lot of struggle throughout and has to lose a limb here and there out there on the golf course. So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think what makes Scottie different is that while he is hyper competitive, there's no doubt about that, and that's kind of where that fire comes from. The reason why he consistently just walks away with these tournaments is because his, as he said, his victory's already secured. He's not walking out there going, if I don't win this golf tournament or if this goes out this way. He's committed and disciplined to his faith, and it makes a difference such that his entire identity and being centers around that. And he just lets his competitive and skillful nature come out on the golf course. I mean, look at how unorthodox he is. He's probably one of the most, if not the most unorthodox number one golfer there has ever been.
I love the Nike ad that had him in his finish with his feet together and kind of like off to the side. I mean, that was awesome too.
Yeah. I mean, it's incredible. I think it's a testament to what it means to be serving something larger than yourself.
I'm with you there. I think so.
And that's different for everybody. I mean, you got to do your own thing, right? So,
but I think Scottie Scheffler gets to even another level if all of a sudden he is.
I don't know if there's much. I don't know if there is another level, man. I mean, because
I just think it's mental. He can get to one more level mentally, because I still see that with under pressure, he struggles a little bit. And it's funny because on the broadcast, they're talking about how much of a closer he is and everything. And he is when he is in those moments. But when it comes down to one putt in order to win something, like we've seen it time and time again, that he struggles under those pressure situations. So that to me is the mental side that Scottie Scheffler can, if he put purpose to working on his mental game, not just, having belief in something else beyond himself and trusting in that. Certainly, I think that helps. But if he actually put attention, focus, and purpose to that, I think that could be big.
I agree.
So that's where I'm at with that. I'm trying to look up, as I was saying that, I was kind of multitasking. I was trying to look up the Nike ad.
It's real good.
gosh, I wish I could pull it up on the screen right now. I can't. But it just says best player in the world ? And then it says guilty underneath with a period next to it. God. And it's Scottie Scheffler in his Finnish driver position, which his legs are crossed.
It's so ridiculous.
It's so ridiculous. It's so good, though. I absolutely love that. Now, as we get back to this, let's go over early betting odds right now over at FanDuel Sportsbook. Scottie Scheffler's plus 280. So obviously,
seriously,
yeah, dude. But this is not as crazy as the Memorial was because
yeah,
remember,
only by 30 points.
next best odds were plus 1600 for the
Oh,
Memorial.
the next guy.
Bryson
All right.
DeChambeau and Rory McIlroy are plus 750. So odds are low for those three. Then you got John Rahm at plus 1200, Xander Schauffele at plus 2000, Ludwig Oberg at 2600, Colin Morikawa plus 2700, Patrick Cantlay, Tommy Fleetwood. Those guys are interesting to me at plus 3100. I just don't see either of them being like, this is not their week, in my opinion. Now, I've said that about Xander Schauffele in the past, and then he won the PGA Championship. So I'm just going to shut my mouth when it comes to that because there's something about when I say that, that guys just happen to play freaking great.
Yeah. It's a weird thing, isn't it? Like when you see what's been going on with these top players, guys that have won majors, and then all of a sudden they just sort of stop, and in some cases just stop competing at the same level, and then the guy that was won 9 times just kind of keeps going.
I also love too that last week you were just shitting on Patrick Cantlay. Once again, gets another top 10. Just not a top player as right. That one's gonna live with you for a while.
15th in the world. Hasn't won in how many years?
I know. Let's get back to the odds real quick. Justin Thomas at plus 3,400, Shane Lowry plus 3,800, Sepp Straka plus 4,000, Joaquin Niemann plus 4,100, Victor Hovland, Jordan Spieth plus 4,200, Sung J M, Tyrrell Hatton, don't call him Tyrell, Sam Burns, Justin Rose, Adam Scott, Tony Finau, Cam Smith, Brooks Koepka, all at plus 5,000. You got Russell Henley at plus 5,500, Matt Fitzpatrick, don't call him Matthew, Hideki Matsu, Buttsy at plus 6,000. Corey Connors, Jason Day, Wyndham Clark, Ben Griffin at plus 6,500. So, Buttsy, I'm going to start with you, man. Who you got winning this damn thing?
Scottie. And
the chef.
Yeah, it's Scottie Scheffler. I mean, you guys said a lot, but I think it comes down to just you've proved to yourself that you're the fucking guy, and you're the guy. I don't think God gives a damn if you're winning golf tournaments. I really don't. If that was the case, I think Tiger Woods would have been looking at the sky his entire career, and I don't think he did any of that. So I think it's very simple math. He just knows he's the fucking guy. He's ahead of everybody else in all categories, and having that kind of confidence, I think he's just going to continue to ride that until it don't work. So
Brent,
Scheffler, you said Justin Thomas though, and I don't know that I hate that. It's kind of a
hard to bet against the guy. I mean, come on.
It's not a dark horse, really, right? No. I don't know if it's a dark horse, but the other one is Ben Griffin. He's got like an insane amount of confidence right now. So
yeah, he's been playing great golf.
Expect to see him play pretty well, but yeah, it's going to be somebody that puts it in play and somebody that makes a lot of putts. Kind of the same old story.
Brent, what about you, man? Who you got this week? Or next? I'm sorry, I keep saying this week because normally we do this the week of, but I wanted to get a week ahead with the U.S. Open preview show.
Obviously, it's hard to bet against Scottie. It is. And listen, I think
this is like you with the lab putter. You know, you gave me so much shit for the lab putter, and then all of a sudden you came all the way around.
Yeah. I mean,
by the way, folks, Brent Grant uses a lab golf putter.
Absolutely, and I recommend it now. But like I said, I think it's really going to be somebody like a Ludwig. I'm going to wait to see some things going into next week's pod before I make an absolute pick.
Well, this is just your pre-show pick. You can change
Yeah,
it by next week.
I think it's somebody like a Ludwig, maybe even a Victor Hovland might show up. Maybe somebody of that strength and ability to hit their long irons high and soft. Rory is obviously up there as well. So
this one, in my mind, this fits Rory very well, but I really don't think since he won the Masters, I kind of have this theory on him that I kind of want to see play out, that I just don't think he's that interested. And he's just going to kind of coast for the rest of the year. Maybe there might be something that gets him going, like the Ryder Cup, but I really just don't see it for Rory next week. And Bryson is an interesting one. I don't think he is accurate enough for Oakmont, especially with his irons. So he was complaining at the Masters about the golf ball. Now somebody needs to make him a golf ball. That's the only chance that he's going to have at Oakmont. It's still funny. God, man.
It would be cool to see a Rory Scheffler showdown. I don't know if we've seen that.
That would be cool. It would be cool to have Bryson up there, have Rahm
we haven't
up there.
seen a real showdown really at all, aside from Rory's just absolute
Rory and Bryson
play.
I mean, that was last year's US Open, but I would love to see not only just two guys going at it. I'd love to see like four of the top guys.
Yeah, we wanted that at the PGA too. I think what makes this US Open different than any other golf tournament is that it really is going to come down to who can hit it the straightest off the tee. And it's a lot different than Pinehurst. I think we can all agree that if Bryson gets a bad lie one time, when he missed the fairway, it's donezo. So, but we'll see. I have a hard time saying Rory because I still believe that he's resting on his laurels. So,
I personally
right about that.
Yeah,
but he's the best. He's probably the best driver, and definitely one of the best with his long irons. So, it's really tough to.
So who are you going with?
One of those three or four people that I
just say one of them.
I want to see Ludwig get it done. I think it would.
You were high on him earlier in this podcast too, so I think that's a smart move to stay strong with Ludwig, because I think with how straight he hits the golf ball and how accurate he is with the driver, and he's long, that he's got a really good shot this week. That's why I put him in that mix. But I want to see Scottie Scheffler. And I do think that, once again, Scottie Scheffler will prevail. But I want to see him in trouble early Thursday or Friday and not lose his cool, and to see him rebound and have a really good stretch of holes after that. So potentially a triple bogey could come up on a Thursday, and I want to see how he handles that. Justin Thomas at Oakmont.
Mm-hmm.
I love Justin Thomas at Oakmont. I think Oakmont is one of those golf courses where Justin Thomas can be himself out there, where he can show off his skill set. And I think he knows how precise he's got to be. So we'll see with Justin Thomas. He's on the list of guys that I think can compete. But again, if I go back to that list, there's what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 8 guys in total. 6 guys from the PGA Tour that I think can win, and then 2 guys from Live Golf. But I will say that Sepp Straka, as well as Ben Griffin, are kind of dark horses in my opinion. They're not necessarily from an odds perspective. And then my 2 dark horses for next week are going to be Dustin Johnson, which Cart Barn guys threw out there. Kyle said it, just because he won there previously. And, you can't really count out Dustin Johnson, and he doesn't get too emotional out there. So he might be one of those guys that if it's an over par score that wins it, he could potentially get that done. Then you've got Bud Colley, who grinder, absolute grinder.
Hits it nowhere.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
This
I'm
is
okay
the one.
with that.
This is I mean, I would love to see. Yeah.
Dustin's plus 15,000. Bud Colley's plus 21,000. They're dark horses, Brent.
Dark
They're
horse.
dark
What about
horses.
Justin Rose?
Justin Rose could be a dark horse, but he's
There's
plus
nobody
5,000.
nobody that grinds harder than that guy.
He will not be outground.
No.
And by the way, Trot Golfer, I think I saw from you, he asked, can an amateur win this? No.
Yes.
No.
Absolutely.
Not happening.
100% it can happen.
No chance.
We're not going to see an amateur in the top 10 this week. Mark my words. Or next
You don't think so?
No.
Okay. We'll
Guys,
talk about that offline.
I want to see it happen. That's why I'm putting it in the universe.
Okay.
That I'm saying it because
reverse psychology on the
happen.
universe. That's
absolutely.
beautiful. I
We've
think
seen it happen numerous weeks.
You know what here's what I want to see happen. I want to see Preston Summerhays pull it out and see if he can get up there and get some confidence leading into his last year in college.
That'd be pretty cool.
That would
He's a
be
good
cool.
kid. Really good kid.
I think that's awesome.
Did you guys know that Gordon Sargent didn't even make it to nationals?
No.
Mm-hmm.
It's a tough
The guy that is the the genesis of the PGA Tour University and the PGA Tour Accelerator program is going into
Luke Clanton is technically
no. Gordon Sargent got his card before Luke Clanton.
I know.
Yeah, but Gordon Sargent didn't even make his squad for nationals, and this is his final year.
It's a tough sport. It's a tough sport, man.
Yeah,
that's a tough deal there.
Yeah, but we've talked about it with Nick Dunlap. Just imagine if Nick Dunlap stayed in school and all of a sudden had the driver yips. He's not making it to nationals, probably.
Yeah, but I mean, he had the driver yips because of likely what he's doing off the golf course in the gym. But I mean,
I love this one. Joseph Del Giorio. Wish the GOAT Pat Perez was in the field this week. If Pat Perez was in the field this week, he's probably going to shoot at least, well, one, he wouldn't make the cut, right? Second,
87.
yeah.
Actually, he would withdraw after the 9 holes on Friday.
I think you're spot on with that.
Yeah,
he's not somebody who could handle that type of mental.
Right to Vegas.
Yeah, he'll lose an arm and he's just like, yeah, I'm done with this.
Yeah.
I'm out.
He'll chip a nail. Anyway, I'm out.
Buttsy can't say anything. All right.
That's true.
You're wrong.
Thank you.
Let's talk about the broadcast. This is the last topic for tonight.
Yeah, Joe Buck.
NBC is going to have the broadcast this year with.
It's not Fox?
USA Today. No. So that's what that was kind of my point here is that remember when Fox did the broadcast for a hot second?
Joe Buck. Yeah.
It was really bad. And actually, one of the early ones, I think it was the Wingfoot one, they had Holly Saunders on it, if I'm not mistaken.
I think you're right.
Way back when. So my question to you guys, since we do a podcast show.
Yes, you should do the broadcast. Absolutely.
No. What makes or breaks a broadcast in your opinion? So Brent, I know you're going to be vocal on this.
100%.
Get after it.
I mean, on top of who they view, when, what they're doing, and all that other stuff that we already have covered 4,000 times. But as far as the people and what they say, the best broadcasts have been when these guys are kind of funny but accurate, short to the point, and you can tell that they're not trying to make a joke so everybody will like them, or say a zinger to try to get that one liner out there, and it's also educated, talking about how many times have we heard, oh well, I would have never hit that shot, or I can't believe he hit that shot, or I would have never done that. I mean, that's all I've been hearing every time I watch golf this year. Oh, that was a terrible shot. I have to be honest, I've heard that probably 20 times and it's from a guy that I don't even think he made the PGA Tour, and you're just like, go out there and hit those shots. Oh, you can't, because you can't break fucking 80. So
go do
I don't want to hear it.
Austin Whittington says, "Bring back Johnny
No,
Miller." Johnny
no.
Miller was,
No.
but
Absolutely not.
I've talked about it on this podcast. I sat on a
No.
plane ride next to Johnny Miller.
I've gotten to know Johnny Miller as well. I've seen him and his
I think
sons.
he's
They're
great.
nice people. He's phenomenal. But Johnny Miller is the originator of I would have hit that shot better. And if there's a reason why you're in the booth, Johnny, I don't want to hear it.
Yeah, because he got old. Buttsy, what about you? What makes a broadcast great?
Just getting excited when good shots are hit and respecting that, and then the rest of the time just calling it. Just call it as it is. Don't your opinion. I don't know. That's like exactly like Brent said. If you're sitting on the couch or you're in the booth, you're not playing. So having an opinion on whether or not you could do better, or speaking from a personal perspective on how well you hit golf shots or what that should have been, I guess that's fine. I guess it's okay to say, oh, maybe he should have done this, but I don't know. Just being realistic, being real. John is the man. Had a few dinners with him.
Oh, sorry. That was from Cart Barn Guys, Kyle over there. And
He's not talking about Johnny Miller,
no.
though. He's just talking about some guy named
just
John.
guy named John. Yeah,
Mhm,
that's great. Trot Golfer, let it play out. Still no mics on the bag.
Well, did you guys? I
miss Gary
assume.
McCord.
Yeah, everybody does, and David Faraday. John, absolutely. Johnny Miller is 100% the man, and he's a super nice human being. I'm
So
just saying.
Kyle, once again, folks, has chimed in. He says, Johnny is the man, Brent, one of the greatest iron players ever.
He's a terrible golfer.
Matt Every is good on the mic. So Matt Every, he's an interesting one because we had him on the podcast and he wasn't, I like Matt Every. I do, but like, he did not really want questions being asked of him like that were like asking a little bit deeper. So he was an interesting one having him on the podcast, but I do agree. And I told him at the time too, I was like, man, I really hope that they give you more mic time and get you on more PGA Tour lives and so forth. Cause I do agree. I think he does a really good job. And to me, what makes a great broadcast, the storytelling aspect to it, that kind of builds the moment throughout. I think that is an art. I think that's something that Jim Nance does really, really well. That's why we lean so much on Jim Nance in particular, but it's the storytelling. And to you, both of your points, by the way, I love what you guys said, which is be authentic, like call it how you see it and how it's unfolding in front of your eyes. Be descriptive, but be authentic. Don't sit there and be super opinionated to be like, oh, he should have, hit that shot within 5 feet. And you're right. I have heard that on several broadcasts recently where it's like, they're like, oh man, that was a terrible shot. Like he could have gotten way closer.
I have to be honest. Like, what?
Yeah. Well,
nobody asked.
One, that is a saying that I say quite a bit and I hate it because it's like, well, are you
not
always
Yeah.
dishonest? Like what's going on there? Like it's a figure of speech and I get that
For sure.
but it's also
But
something
qualifying. Yes.
Yeah, but it's also something that people use as a crutch a lot so
Yeah.
that they can say something, right? And that to me, just be authentic with the broadcast. And I think that'll lead a long ways when it comes in that. And then also, I think, like, I don't know if I love it, but I feel like the viewership loves it is when they have a guy out there on the course like a Johnson Wagner or
Who knows what he's talking about?
Faraday.
Well, there's they brought the guy in for the PGA Championship. I guess he's a Euro, one of the Euro broadcasters, been in golf for a very, very long time. Like they all gave him a ton of acclaim, but he was putting golf balls out there and showing the, how much the golf ball will come off of the green with the false front. Was talking a little bit about the rough, things along those lines. Like, I think those clips and aspects to give the viewer a sense of how deep that rough really is or how fast those greens are
100%.
or undulating or some of the church pew bunkers, like that's going to be a really telling piece to this. But again, that goes to the storytelling. That goes to, there's an educational piece, like they teach along the way, but don't take it to that level of, making the viewer feel like an idiot or like trying to assume that the viewer doesn't know what the hell you're talking about.
Right.
Just
Yeah,
be
your
authentic.
job is to relay and paint the picture. It's not to somehow drag somebody else down or for you to blow yourself up, right? To make yourself the show. And I think you're spot on. Jim Nance does, like, not a single time have we ever heard him put himself in somebody else's shoes and say, well, I think this, and I just have to be honest, and it's my opinion. And no, he tells the story, he gets the information. Now, granted, the information for the most part is fed to him, and sometimes, it's a little bit, bland. But at the Masters, aside from a couple of impossible stories that we can go into after we get offline, but for the most part, it was just like, holy crap, I feel like I'm there, and
Mm-hmm.
that's the whole point. And that's
Yeah.
why, like, a Vern Lundquist,
Oh,
a Faraday,
what a
Gary
name.
McCord,
What a voice.
Ian Baker Finch, unbelievable. And I will actually give Johnny Miller some credit. For the most part, he was very, very good. There were a lot of times where he did kind of make himself the show, but
Well, he realized that if he was controversial, and I feel like like guys in sports
Jacobson, yeah.
nowadays do this way too often, and it's getting played out to where they purposely
Mhm.
take the stance to piss people off, right? And Johnny Miller was one of the original guys that he knew people were going to get upset by the stuff he was going to say, and he was direct.
Did it anyways. Yeah.
He
loves
went
himself.
after it, and he wasn't always wrong though. That's the other thing.
He
No.
Like
loves
he shot
himself.
it from the hip,
100%.
and he did it to spice up viewership and everything like that, I feel like. But at the end of the day, he also had some of those true opinions as well.
And he developed the walking farts, and I think that was part of the reason that his career ended short, because it was something that they tried to like subdue and edit out, but he was farting so much that the other broadcasters like they were laughing or puking. It smelled really bad, and it's something that doesn't get out there. But he got the walking farts, and a lot of people don't know that.
And that's where we're going to end this episode, right there with the walking farts, folks. If you are a new viewer or listener, do make sure to subscribe to the channel on YouTube or on any of the podcast platforms. Wherever you listen to podcasts, we are available. Pull Hook Golf is the name, and Hitting Hooks is our game. But we do want to give a shout out to our sponsors tonight, where good old Devereaux Golf. Utilize the promo code PullHookGolf20 at checkout at DEVEREUX golf.com for 20% off your entire order at DevereauxGolf.com. Again, Vice Golf, utilize the promo code PullHook at checkout for 10% off your orders of golf balls. Buy those in bulk, by the way, because you end up getting at least 20% off if you do that. And they're such a great price ball, and they're a solid performance ball too. That's what I love about them. We also want to give a shout out to my guy who finished up these Titleist 690 MBs for me in the Tour Raw Tour Blue. Titleist 690 MBs from Custom Golf AZ on Instagram, folks. He is going to be setting up shop, and you can get all your club fitting needs taken care of by him, as well as refinishing of golf clubs. So make sure to get out there and check out Custom Golf AZ. And if you've got any needs, any old clubs that you're like, man, those blades back in the day were awesome, get them cleaned up, get them fixed, get them refinished, because again, these were not in great shape. And he did a phenomenal job on these. When I saw him, I was just drooling yesterday. I can't wait to play these tomorrow night in the Grass League Skins game over at Grass Clippings. So looking forward to that. You guys are going to see these. KBS, we want to give a shout out to them for the shafts. So I've been playing some money tapers, which I absolutely love. The money tapers, I love the feel of them. However, they tend to balloon on me just a little bit, which is why I've gone back to C tapers, which they're a little bit stiffer. But KBS, best golf shafts in the game when it comes to irons, in my opinion. You can argue with me on that all you want, but KBS, hats right over here. We appreciate you guys. And until next time, do you guys know what's coming?
Oh, yeah. Hit it.
Peace out, everybody. A-Town down.